Excellent friends, it is Thursday, August 10th, 2023, here in brutally hot and humid Tokyo, Japan. You got the Hobby Drifter here once again, and after several months, I've finally broken my dry spell of not buying a bunch of nerd shit. As my three regular viewers know, I like to, indulge my various hobbies as a way to kind of unwind from my often extremely stressful job. But I just, through a, bad set of circumstances, haven't found a bunch of stuff to buy recently. I haven't been able to make it out to the shops as much, and when I have gotten out, there's just really nothing I wanted to bring home. I've been kind of working on decluttering my house a bit, so I'm a little bit, more selective as to what I'm going to, bring home. But got out twice this week and found stuff both times, so I want to just share my joy with you. So the first thing I did the other day, I hit up a book off outside of Tokyo and found a couple of cool things, but specifically, I don't know what the deal is. This must have come from a single collector, but someone must have sold off a collection of 45s, and it was a absolutely insane, like hundreds and hundrds of 45s of like pop songs from the late 70s through the mid 80s, I guess, and like not a lot of metal or anything, but just like top 40 type hits, things that you would hear. I'm thinking like maybe it was like a radio DJ or something, that like a radio station created these in. I don't know, but like hundreds and hundreds of these, and there was a mix. It was probably about 50-50 Western stuff, English language stuff, and Japanese stuff. There was no Japanese language stuff that appealed to me, but I did actually come away with 5 45s, which I've never bought a 45 in my adult life. I had a couple of kids ones when I was very, very young. But check out what I got. All right, we got El DeBarge, Who's Johnny, the Short Circuit theme, and this. Okay, so love Short Circuit. I mean, just about everyone my age fucking loves Short Circuit, but I think this is the only bit of Short Circuit merchandise I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever even seen the DVD for sale here. So I mean, it was, how much do I pay for this? 300 yen, which is like $2, $2 US right now. So yeah, had to grab that. Small, thin, not going to take up a lot of space. Not going to take up a lot of vanishing space in my place. And hey, who else is going to buy an El DeBarge 45 in 2023? Me, only me. And if you got a problem with that, then fucking eat it. Speaking of eating it, holy shit, look at that. It's a Weird Al. It's got Eat It, and the back side is side B is let me check in this. All right, the B side is why can I not find that on here? Here we go. The B side is That Boy Could Dance, which I'm not immediately familiar with, but I didn't know this was released as a single here, but it does explain why this is one of the only Weird Al songs I ever see at the karaoke machine. So, at the karaoke box and all. This has a different art It says different art than the US version, and it's it's a fucking Weird Al 45. Had to grab that. Also 300 yen, so like $2. Again, showing my age, but big Weird Al fan, have been for many, many years. This one's a little bit stranger. We got Dancing in the USA medley. And okay, so the deal with these, in the early 80s, these medleys of different artists' popular songs very, very quickly came and went into fashion and out of fashion. And this is not a Springsteen album. It's a cover group called The Boss. And it's basically, they cover about a minute of each of these Springsteen songs and combine it into like one more radio-friendly track. My parents were big Springsteen fans. My parents had good taste in music. They were very young when they had kids. So I mean, everyone says no one likes their parents' music, and fuck you. My parents grew up in the 60s and were buying records in the 70s and 80s. My parents have great musical taste. I have since listened to this. It's not good. So just seemed like a fun little bit of thing. And it was $2, 300 yen. Not recommended. It's a fairly substandard cover of Springsteen stuff, and Springsteen's not that tough to cover, so I don't really know what the deal is with that. Next, and this was the most exciting one for me to come through, for me to find while going through these things. The Ghostbusters theme from Ray Parker Jr., and it's dated 1984, specifically October 1984. So this would have been released right around the time the movie hit theaters here. The B-side on this one is the instrumental version of the Ghostbusters theme song. So yeah, this one was, how much was this? This one was 500 yen. So $3.50, $4, something like that. Not at all expensive. And I've got the Ghostbusters theme song on so many different formats. And this is my first and will probably be my only Ghostbusters 45. But I did find out in doing some research on this thing that there is a Ghostbusters 2 45 with some of the stuff from the criminally underappreciated Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack. Seriously, if you haven't listened to that, it's really good. It's very, very different from Ghostbusters 1, but it's got some fucking bangers on it, guys. Yeah, so whenever I get a chance to add some vintage Ghostbusters stuff to my collection, especially when it's fairly inexpensive, that's a good fucking day for me. So I mean, I do have the full-sized the LP of the Ghostbusters soundtrack. Actually, when I bought that, I got it for actually the same price as I got it for 500 yen, and I took it home and found out that whoever bought that in 1984 stuffed the original movie Chirashi into the jacket. So I mean, that was almost even more exciting than picking up the album itself. So yeah, this was exciting. This was a good thing. And then also, just because this was released in 1977, the very first 45 of the Star Wars music, and it's done by John Williams. The B-side is the Cantina, the Cantina song. Unlike the other four, which are just single-sided things, this actually comes in its own sleeve. So there's some information about the Star Wars movie, and the music involved. It's I love the style of some of these Japanese 70s Star Wars media releases. I've got more of them than I would probably have expected when I started actually buying stuff in Japan again. I've got the original Star Wars LP. I've got the Story of Star Wars LP. I've got a bunch of books and magazines released around the time. I used to have a little bit more, but not all of it survived the move to Tokyo. Also, while I was clearing out the book off on this, despite being from Book Off, it is new, it's still sealed. This is the super deformed version, the SD EX standard for the Gundam Ariel from Witch from Mercury, which I've still not finished. I've started watching the series. It's really, really good. I have not always enjoyed the Gundam shows as much as I have enjoyed just building the model kits. But of course, you know, I enjoy building the kits more when I actually care about the suits and the pilots themselves. So this has been kind of tough to get. It's been sold out at places like Bic Camera and Yodobashi for a little while now. So being able to score one unused from Book Off for so 600 yen after tax. A little bit of hobby drifter math there, which would be $4, under $5. I've seen one of these, put together, unpainted and unlined, and it looked really good. So I'm really excited to see if it looks pretty good after I get it all painted and lined up. I'm not sure when I'm going to get around to making this. There is actually another Gundam on my to-do list that should probably get priority, but that's going to take me like a weekend, and this will probably take me about 2 hours. So maybe I get through this one first. I still haven't watched all of Witch from Mercury, but I bought a bunch of model kits for it. I got the two ladies because they came with like the figure-rise standard kits, and I absolutely love those. They're some of the best kits you can buy, and the fact that they cost like a third of what the Figuarts ones cost is just icing on the cake. So yeah, looking forward to getting to this. And speaking of Gundam, my one true Gundam love is, of course, people my age. It was the first one we saw was Gundam Wing. So love Gundam Wing. I love art books, and you know what this is? Yeah, it is a Gundam Wing art book. It's number 4 in the Sunrise art book series, and it's Gundam Wing Part 2, which means that eventually I'm going to have to track down Part 1. It's not necessarily the best Gundam art book. There's some full color art, and there's a lot of like character design sketches and things like that. Gundam fans, I don't know worldwide, but Gundam fans here can get very, very into a lot of like the technical specifications and things like that. So this kind of stuff is extremely popular with Gundam fans and with anime fans in general. I've got some stuff like this with Evangelion, which is the same type of thing. It's very, very technical, and it's still got the obi, which I don't know. I never used to care if the obi was included, and I used to really like if I could get a discount for everything not having the obi, but recently, since I've been trying to, put together a collection that I want to actually hold on to, I do kind of look for nicer copies, and having the OB is part of that. So again, yeah, this was 570 yen. I love when they do this thing like the Yahoo Hawk thing, where it's like, hey, if you want, you can, check and see that this is actually a pretty popular thing. And that's not necessarily exactly what it's there for, but I mean, that's the point. So yeah, I paid $570, and looks like there is a sticker on a sticker. Yeah, so the original price was 1,050 yen, which I don't know that I would have paid that for this if it was 1,000 yen. Just because I am kind of getting to my limit for art books too, but Gundam Wing is one of those things where I'll kind of make a few exceptions for it. And I gotta find part 1 of this series. But on the topic of books, I draw your attention to the Mandarake bag here. And alright, so I went to Akihabara today. Today's my first day of the summer break. I get a week off of work. And yesterday they announced, they pronouns Bell. So the company Takara Tomy officially announced their Missing Link Convoy, which is a re-release of the original Generation 1 Optimus Prime toy, but with added articulation. And I am excited for this. And I asked on social media if anyone knew when the next Japanese toy show was going to be, because I was so excited for this. I wanted to see it in person, and somebody said, well, it's actually on display from today in Akihabara at Yodobashi Camera, but unless you're near Tokyo, Japan, you're probably gonna have to wait. Well, guess what? So yeah, I got up this morning with one goal in mind, and that was to go check this out in Akihabara, and I did, and it looks incredible. And I pre-ordered it the minute the pre-orders went up, so I'm gonna get this when it comes out in February. But I'm so excited to get a chance to see this. But I figured, while I was in Akihabara, might as well go shopping. And I hit up, the usual places. Again, it was like 90-something degrees and humid today, so I wasn't gonna spend a lot of time walking around. But I did, I hit up Surugeya, which had nothing I was interested in. I hit up Book Off, which was just, I hate that Book Off. Prices that are like double what even other Book Offs charge outside of Akiba. Hit up Mandarake Toy Floors, which were just sad. Just, again, those shelves are so picked over. The vintage toy section, and even like the newer toys are just, yeah. It makes sense. Those places are busy every single day. Now that tourists are back, and stuff comes and goes. But yeah, it compared to what it used to be, it made me very, very sad. There were no like wow, like holy grail items in the Transformer showcases. they wanted 100,000 yen for a boxed Optimal Optimus from Beast Wars. 100,000 yen for this. They wanted 70,000 yen for a Transmetal 2 Megatron. They wanted 88,000 yen for Snapdragon, G1 Headmaster Snapdragon, in a dingy looking box. They wanted 440,000 yen for a boxed set of Constructicons, and they weren't even all that nice looking. Like, they were very mid-range. 440,000 yen. This is the chain that sold me a boxed complete Fort Max for a tenth of that price years ago. So yeah, nothing to make you go wow, other than to see these prices are like wow. But in fairness, not even in fairness, but I don't buy a lot of vintage toys anymore because I have most of what I want. But what I am still looking for are art books, and there are several art books that are, if not on my immediate to-buy list, that I've just been keeping an eye out for. And the third floor of Mandarake in Akiba that's where you go to buy these things. And this one single floor had very nearly everything that was on my immediate to-buy list, and most everything that was just, I'll keep my eyes open for it. And unfortunately, a lot of it was not crazy expensive, but in line with what the going rates are for. Like, if I wanted to get these off of like a online auction site or something like that, this is about what I would pay, but maybe a little bit lower for some of these. But I was in Akiba, it's first day of vacation, so want to see what I got? Want to see what I got from the store? Weird. This bag is black. When me and my buddy Ryan used to go to Mandarake stores back in Kyushu a lifetime ago. We'd often come back with what we called the yellow bag of shame, which was a bag that was about 2 feet wide by maybe a foot deep. You could hold a good sized fish tank in there. I would sometimes come home with 2 of these. So the first things that I got here, another Gundam Wing book, and this is a small format book. These were very popular for many years here in Japan, and I don't actually know what this is because very near, I think every book there is sealed, not factory sealed, just protective sealing, which kind of sucks because I think that they would sell, especially to foreign tourists or foreign shoppers, I think they would sell more stuff if people who aren't already familiar with what these things are could flip through them. And that is something that you'll notice at a lot of like these hobby places, is if you don't already know what the hell something is, tough luck. So here we go. We got this. This is actually in really nice shape for a book that I believe is from like 1995. And let's see what we got here. Yeah, so here's the. These actually look like the art that was in the model kits. Looks very similar to that. And then, yeah, we got like character designs and things of that nature. They had a ton of books like this, including ones going back to the 80s. They had ones from like Transformers and Beast Wars. They didn't have specifically the ones for the G1 Transformers or G-Ranger, which became Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which probably for the best, because I don't think I would have been able to stop myself from buying them if they did. They had a few of the larger format ones for those, and they wanted about 5,000 yen each for them, which is more than I was going to pay for books that I can't flip through just to make sure they're not, meh. But yeah, this was only 300 yen, so like $2.25. I've never actually seen one of these before. Gonna go in my small Gundam art book collection. I mean, $3, right? Or 300 yen. Next, something that again I've been kind of having my eye on for a while. Batman versus Bane. You might recognize the cover art there as the cover art from, was it 1992, 1991, 1992's Vengeance of Bane, which is the first appearance of Bane. And this is, this just collects several of the Bane stories. I believe it's got Vengeance of Bane 2, and I think that Prestige format book that was released around the time that Batman and Robin came out, when they released Prestige format books for a bunch of the characters that had been in Batman movies. I think they made, I think they did a Mr. Freeze one. I think they did Two-Face. I know they did a Catwoman one years before that. I think there was a Penguin. With a really, really nice cover. But Bane was always my favorite Batman villain. Just such a cool character. I've got the original. Actually, I've got every Bane comic that from the first appearance up through like when I came to Japan. I don't think I missed any, but anyone that's been released since 2007, I don't have yet, which is kind of a pain in the neck. Okay, so yeah, still got the Obi on here. You guys know what a trade paperback looks like. Let me open it up, and we've got Vengeance of Bane, Bane of the Demon Part 1, 2, 3, and 4, Origin of Bane, and Origin of Batman, and Origin of Ra's al Ghul. So, okay, it's not Vengeance of Bane 1 and 2, it's Vengeance of Bane plus Bane of the Demon. Oh, and there's a little bookmark in here from Kotobukiya. This was, of course, released around the time of Dark Knight Rises, since Bane was the main villain in that series. I don't have a lot of Japanese translations of English comic books, but I do have some, and I always like to compare like the translation of how things are translated from one language to the other. And I have not read Bane of the Demon in such a long time. It's such a cool book too. Really should have put Vengeance of Bane 2 in here. It's a very important story, though it does have some of that in the origin of Bane section. Yeah, there's commentary. This was 600 yen, so $5. Can't compete with that. I mean, I'll never find this book cheaper than that. And speaking of books I won't find cheaper, the main event, the thing that made me just so happy to find. So I've lived in Japan for a very long time, and I've been a Transformers fan for an even longer time. And there was when I came here, Transformers was not super popular. The ongoing toy line at the time that was just finished was they called it Beast Wars Returns, but it was Beast Machines. So that was just finishing here. Then there were Robot Masters, I think, had stopped, and so I guess really the only one that was releasing new stuff when I was here was Kiss Players. So there wasn't a lot of Transformers stuff coming out, and when there was, I took notice. But I kind of got my fill of Transformers stuff while I was here in my early days. I realized that a lot of the stuff, like I love the characters, I love the art and stuff like that, but a lot of it, like the idea of actually owning a lot of this stuff, was more appealing than, having it. I owned most of the toys that I had always dreamed of having, and I was just kind of like, yeah, well, I mean, these are cool, but I don't necessarily need to, own them forever. So I sold off, I think at one point, literally all of it. And then, I bought back some of the stuff I actually wanted. And I have had people ask if I regret selling any of the stuff that I sold. And I've always said, for the most part, no. I mean, now, sure, now that it's worth, 10 or 100 times more than what I sold it for. Like, sure, yeah, I kind of wish, I held on to, Victory Saber and Deseras when they were, $2,000 toys rather than selling them for, $500. Maybe wish I still had Minerva sitting in a box somewhere, but honestly, at the time, I could have used that, I think probably like $800 for it. I probably needed the money more then than I do now. But there were a couple of things that I did regret selling, and up until today, I had been able to rebuy all of it except one. There's only one that had eluded me, and it was a Transformers art book. And it was released, I think it was 2008, and it was a collection of work from Studio Ox that was, I believe it was released as a MOOC. But I bought several of those for friends and associates outside of Japan, and one of them messaged me and he said, hey, I'm looking for this book, and I'm like, I don't have any extras, but I still have one of my copies. I still have my copy, and I don't really need it. And I have never again seen that book for sale. I've never again seen that book for sale. And whenever I would see it pop up online, it was significantly more money than I wanted to pay for it. Well, today I found it. And actually Mandarake had 3 of them. I haven't seen one in almost 15 years, and Mandarake had 3 of them. And believe me when I say this is one of those books that I have been looking for, like every time I've gone into like a secondhand bookstore for many, many years. Never seen one. They had 3 of them. And I was looking at the spines, because this Mandarake had just so many Transformers books. It was honestly a little bit overwhelming. But I'm flipping through the spines and I see it, and I'm just like, one of these is coming home with me. This would need to have a lot of digits in the price for me to have this in my hand and not buy it. And I did. I did buy it. Here it is. Transformers Visual Works. The Transformers Graphic Bible. It has been referred to as the best Transformers art book, and there are, honestly, like some of the Jim Sorens and things probably maybe got it beat by now. But at the time, this was it. So it was released, I don't see a date on here, but at a cover price of 2,800 yen. Mandarake had 3 copies. The cheapest one was 5,500 yen before tax, so twice the cover price, but it didn't have the obi. The most expensive one was 8,000 yen plus tax, so I guess it'd be 8,800 yen. That one was just about near mint. This one set me back 6,500 yen, and it does have the obi, which I decided I wanted. And I have not flipped through this book in nearly 15 years. I must have the date wrong on this. Or maybe this got a second print run. Because, wait, no, sorry. I'm looking at this wrong. Yeah, so it was released around the time of the movie, so like 2007. I was thinking this screenshot was from Transformers 3. It's not, it's from Transformers 1. This, of course, was the one where you could, there was like the mail-away promotion where you could get the green G1 Ratchet, which I do believe I did for a few people. It was never one that really appealed to me. I wish that these plastic sleeves were easier to open without having to like rip them apart. But here we go. Oh, it's got that old book smell. It's very rare that I pay over cover price for a book, but had to have this one again. So here it is. Transformers Visual Works. From Million Hero, which I believe for the ones who originally did Transformers Generations. Yeah, so here's the little insert for the New Year's special e-hobby black Ironhide. So there's the like the black Ironhide and the green ratchet. And here's stuff for Kamen Rider. Advertisement for the DVD release of the first movie. Car robots. See, I'm excited. When I first owned this, I couldn't read I wouldn't have even been able to read any of it. Now I can actually go through and read most of it. So, yeah, here we go at the end of it. So this was released 2007, so it's over 15 years old. Transformers visual works from Million Publishing. There were several other Transformers books at this Mandarake that I was extremely tempted by, but I didn't really want to blow my entire, hobby budget like on the first day of my vacation. So it's gonna have to wait a little while for those, but honestly most of the artwork that I would like to check out from those books is in this one. So I don't really need to have those just to have them, but having this is some extremely happy hobby. So yeah, almost 45 minutes in talking about my recent hauls. That's unusual. I don't know if anyone would watch this to begin with, but if you did, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you all have a great day. I know TF Nation is happening in the UK right now. So there's some Transformer stuff going on around the world. I'm looking forward to seeing pictures and hearing stories from that. And that is going to be all for me. So thanks everyone. Take care. Remember, stay safe and happy hobbying.